Okay, we'll just go ahead and get started now. Hopefully people will jump in as we get going. Also, if you're watching right now and you need to leave later and come back, you can do that. We're going to record this whole thing and post it to YouTube, so you'll be able to come back and access this later. So, welcome to the orientation. We're going to talk. My name's Brandon Crouch. You've been receiving a lot of emails from me. Carly Pennington will be talking to you as well a little bit later, and we're going to cover some material that you'll need to know about for the Student Research Symposium. Basically, we wanted to prepare you so that you know what you need to do in order to be ready to present on April 9th. So we'll be covering how to complete registration. I'll talk about judging and awards, and I'll give you a timeline of events. I'll then pass this over to Carly, and she'll talk about the training portion of the events, and and we'll conclude at that point. So at any time, you can email me your questions. The benefit for those of you who are participating live is that you have questions. You can email me right now. Some of you are calling me right now. You can email me right now, and we can answer your questions live if that's possible. So, so go ahead and do that if you'd like. All right, so first I want to talk about the sign-up sheet. This is something new that we tried out this year that we're hoping you're going to find beneficial. I realize it's been a little bit confusing, and so I'm hoping that I can explain things now and help you guys clean it up. So just so everyone's aware, this form needs to be, I'm talking about the SRS sign-up sheet. This is the 2-sheet spreadsheet workbook that is on Google Sheets and that we've been using to sign up. And you received a link to that when you registered as part of the registration form. This is our master guide for the entire event. If you've signed up here at a time, we're expecting you to be there at that time and to be presenting. So it's important that this is filled out and filled out accurately. So that's why I want to walk you through it. So let me check my notes here. So if you're going to participate, you have to have your name in a box, and that box has to be one that's under your college. And so on the oral presentation sheet, your college is designated by color, and on the poster presentation sheet is designated by color, but typically by column as well. We had enough people there that we were able to separate it into broad chunks. And it looks like it's pretty much full at this point. What I do have, if you go to this sheet, you'll notice that several people are highlighted in yellow. Those people signed up here, but when I checked the registration forms, I didn't have a form for them. If you know them, or if you are one of them, if you could go and make sure you submit that form by Friday at 5, that will allow me to know that you're here. And I'm going to have to delete these people if I don't have a registration form for them, because I don't have confirmation that they're going to be here, and I want to open these spots up for other people who are trying to get in and present at these times. So, so do try to be aware of that, and if you know some of these people, if you'd let them know, and if you are one, if you change that. A lot of you are probably wondering, why do I have to sign up with my college? That's not the most convenient time for me. That's not going to work for me. The point in signing up for your college has to do with judging. The judges are going to be faculty members that are related to your discipline. So if they're not from your department, they're from your college. And that's important because somebody not from your college is not going to be able to give you a fair assessment of your project. They're not going to be able to give the best judging and therefore give you the best shots to get an award if they're not from your college. And so if you don't sign up with your college, you won't be able to be judged by someone from your discipline, which would be a disadvantage to you. The other thing is that if you don't sign up with your college, you will sign up with someone else's college, and you'll block a spot for a person who signed up. Now, what we've done with this sheet is the number of spots available is determined by our past 3 years of participants, and so they're fairly accurate to how many people we anticipate signing up from each college. But if people are switching different colleges, then that throws off the count, and will block a spot that somebody needs from that college. So if you're signed up for a college that isn't your own, if you could please go to this spreadsheet, the SRS sign-up sheet, and change yourself to an appropriate session. Now, if you can't make it to your college, but you should sign up for a mixed session. Now, these mixed sessions, they will be judged by someone who is qualified to do a judging like this, somebody who has a PhD, and will be able to give you good feedback regardless of the college that you're in. So, so don't worry about being at a disadvantage if you have to sign up for a mixed session. But if you can't fit with your college, you should sign up for a mixed session. So, and the final thing to be aware of is that we need this form to be completed by Wednesday, the 25th. The reason for that is that we need to get working on assigning these judges and having the judges know where they need to be and who they're going to be working with. And so we need to get working on that fairly quickly because it's a lot of faculty to get arranged, and so we need that done by February 25th. So, so if you make sure that that's done. So, okay, so I'm going to switch gears now. I want to talk about judging. This is probably a little more exciting to the rest of you since you're probably sick of looking at that form. So I'm going to talk about oral judging first for the oral session. So there will be 2 judges. I'll talk about the first judge, the one that affects your awarding first. So that is your, we're calling them the faculty judges. These are the judges I just spoke about. They're from your discipline, and they'll be focusing mainly on content. That doesn't mean if your delivery is poor and your content can't shine, then they'll probably mark you down for that as well. But their main focus is going to be the content of your research, the quality of your research, and then they will pass their assessment on to a committee who will determine who receives the awards on Friday. Just going through so I don't repeat myself here. All right, and they will focus on a rubric, and I will post this rubric. I have last year's rubric. We haven't recreated it, so I will post a summary of this rubric on the website, hopefully within the next couple of days. So the things they're going to want to know about for your introduction, they're going to talk about a strong opening. Do you have a clear hypothesis or thesis statement? Is there a specific preview of the main points? And is there smooth transitions to main point number 1 and the points beyond that? Then they're going to focus on the body of your speech. They're going to want to know about is the material organized into more than five main points? Is there too many points? They want to know if it's clearly identified, if your organizational pattern is clearly identified. Is it easy to follow your train of thought through here? And are there easily identifiable transitions? Can they follow you through? And they're going to be interested in your conclusion, specifically, is your transition to your conclusion clearly articulated? Do they know that you're about to end? Have you summarized the importance of your research? Have you explained to them why it is that they should have just listened to you? And then, is there an effective concluding statement? Is there a strong ending? And then they're gonna be asked questions like, did the speaker use presentation aids that enhanced the overall audience understanding? Was the presentation easy to see and read? Was the presentation aid handled effectively? So that's all they're going to talk about with content, and those are considered less important than those first 3 things: introduction, body of speech, and conclusion. Once again, don't panic if you didn't get all that down, because I'll post all this to the website later and send you a link through email. And then they're going to be asked a little bit about your delivery as well. Was it excellent eye contact? Did you have vocal clarity? Was it well rehearsed? Were you practiced? Were you natural and comfortable up there? So that's what they're going to be concerned about, the judges there. And these judges, they will, once again, they'll write down their assessment and they'll pass it on to a committee which will determine who the awardees are for Friday's award ceremony. Now, the exciting thing about Student Research Symposium is that we really try hard to make it a training experience and a place where you can gain some valuable conference experience in a situation where it's okay to fail. So for some of you, this may not be necessary, but I think for all of you, you'll benefit from a little bit of feedback on your presentation skills. So what we've done is we've arranged to have trained public speaking fellows, is what we're calling them. I've written them down on the website as speaking coaches. But these are people who are trained to give feedback on public speaking, which is why the judges aren't going to be focused on your delivery as much as these other people who will be in the room. Now, their assessment won't weigh as heavily on your receiving an award, on your assessment as to whether or not your presentation should receive an award, but it may be considered as a tiebreaker or as something that'll help kind of tip you over the edge. So they're going to be giving you feedback on a rubric so that you can get feedback immediately from this person. The judging feedback, because of how we have to receive it all and then process it all, it may not be given to you immediately. We'll hopefully get it to you within a week. But the public speaking judges, that feedback should be given to you almost immediately, if not like right when you finish, which should be hopefully very valuable to you. I hope this is a service that you appreciate. So. And they don't have a rubric that I'm aware of right now, and when I do get one from them, if they have one, I'll post that online so you have an idea of what you should be shooting for. Okay, so for those of you who are doing poster sessions, poster presentations, so one thing that's very important is you have to be at your poster for the entire hour, because we don't know when your judge is going to walk by, and if the judge walks by your poster and you're not there, then they're just going to skip it. we'd like it not to be that way, but it's the way it has to be in order to coordinate with these faculty members' schedules. Once again, the judges are faculty members who've volunteered to give up an hour of their day to come down and judge several of the posters. They'll be doing upwards of 8 to 10 posters during the session. We hope to have that number lower so they can spend some more time with each of you, hopefully about 10 minutes apiece if they need to. And you'll just have an opportunity to explain your poster and the things that are associated with it. So. But yeah, so you have to be there. If you can't be there, but you have another author who can be there, another author is acceptable to present for you as well. So, and then I do have a rubric for that. I'll explain that briefly right now, and then once again, I'll post that to the website as is available. All right, so they're going to be interested. The judges are going to be interested in your content, particularly your introduction and your literature, your hypothesis, and the questions that you asked. They'll be interested about your methodology, and they'll want to know about your results and conclusions. So all these things are posted right now under presenter resources on the website, so you can look those up as well. They'll also be interested in the expression. They'll want to know about your organization, and are your images and text appropriate, and are they helpful? And then they'll move on to talking. So that was what they're going to focus on with your poster, specifically your content and the expression on your poster. And now they'll want to know about you. They'll talk about the content. Do you understand? Do you have project knowledge? Do you understand what you were doing? And are you capable of delivering that well? And then they have content knowledge, which I don't know what the difference is. So I'll find clarification on that and get back to you. Once again, this rubric may be a year or two old. And so we'll get a new one and put that online as soon as we can. And then they'll want to know about your expression. Are you professional in your presentation? Now, if you're concerned about that, Carly's going to talk about the upcoming training experiences that we'll provide for you, where we'll talk about things like professionalism. So if that's something you're concerned about, you have a general idea of what's right, but you want to know exactly what we're looking for, we can get that to you. So, yeah, the rest of this is really long, and I would bore you if I went through it, but I'll post all this online so that you can see what these rubrics are going to look like and what you need to prepare for. So I'm going to pause for a second. I got an email from one of you, and so we'll see if I can answer that right now. Okay, Haley Wall asks, I signed up for an oral and poster time slot. Do we have to do both, or can we choose one or the other? The answer to that question is you can do both. But you need to make sure that those don't overlap. You are not required to do both, and I'm not going to encourage you to do one or the other, to do both or not. If you want to do an oral presentation and a poster presentation, that's fine. But you do need to make sure on that spreadsheet that you're not signed up for conflicting times. And if you are presenting twice, you may be contacted and asked which one you'd rather do if we need to make a hole for somebody who wasn't able to present. So
and you need to pick which one you're going to do by Wednesday.
Yeah, and we have to know by Wednesday if you're going to be submitting. So, what else is there? I had a thought and I lost it. So I'll remember it again if I remember, I'll email it to you. So, okay, so that concludes judging and posters. So I'll talk about awards now. So awards, we're still working on those, so I can't give you a ton of detail as to how these are going to work out and what exactly is going to be awarded. But they will be given to the best oral presenter and the best poster presenter from several categories that I'll list off. Now it's the best oral poster from the graduate students and the best oral presenter from the undergraduate students. So you won't be competing with people outside of your I don't know what you call it, from your class basically. So undergraduates will be competing against undergraduates and grads against graduate students. So the breakdown, the categories for awards will be physical sciences, life sciences, humanities and arts in one category, social sciences, and engineering. And these categories are determined based on historical numbers of how many people we anticipate being here, and the numbers have confirmed that based on who's signed up. So so just know that that's what the categories that we're looking for. So if you're seeing that there's 3,000 engineers who signed up and you're worried about competing against all of them, or 3,000 people from the College of Engineering, then yeah, you're competing against all of them, but the education and groups like that are split up a little bit. So once again, I'll post all these online if you're confused about it. Okay, so the other thing we've added this year is the introduction. We're going to try this out this year is badges. These badges have no weight on the awards. They are simply recognition for doing a good job on your poster. And so they'll be awarded by members of the Research and Graduate Studies Project Management and Communications team. That's the team that I'm on and that Carly's on, and that this office works out of. These badges will be assigned for things like the best poster, best looking poster, the prettiest slides, basically these communications trainings that Carly will be talking about in a minute. If you did a good job following the directions given there, then we'll recognize that poster with a badge. Also, those who are honor students, PDRFs, posters that are related to things like possibly like allies or the year of water, you may receive a badge as well that just indicates to people walking through the symposium that, that you're under this specific category or topic. So if there are administrators from the honors program who want to come through and see, they can go and find their honors poster or PDRF or anything like that. So they don't have any weight or bearing, but they're basically for bragging rights. So we're going to try it out this year and see what the response is. So I believe that's all that I have. I think Carly has just stepped away for a minute. Are you there, Carly?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to pass things over to Carly right now. She's going to talk about the events that are coming up.
Okay, hi everybody. Yesterday we had our first training. Don't worry if you missed it. It's going to be recorded. It's on video. We're going to be able to post it hopefully by Tuesday. If you did miss it, you're not going to want to forget to watch that video. Yesterday's grits was about it was about how to design slides, and we've all sat through those presentations where the slides just are, you can't even focus on the presentation because the slides are just not very good. So yesterday we went through and we talked about how to create gorgeous slides. And whether you're a beginner or whether you're pretty advanced and you have really great slides and you just want to tweak and improve them, you're going to want to watch this because there are things you can do to make yourself incrementally better and improve what you do with your slides. So don't forget, that's going to be on the website within the next week or so, probably by Tuesday. And again, we'll be able to give you, we'll be watching for things that we talked about yesterday at the training and award badges based on those things as well. So the next training is going to be March 19th. It is about how to design posters. So we've done the slides now, we're talking about the posters as well. And a lot of those principles are similar, but certainly the execution is a little bit different. So that will be March 19th at 1 o'clock in Library 101. This is part of the graduate training series, but we're inviting undergraduates who are involved in the Student Research Symposium because we feel it's a really important thing to learn. And we're excited to get started on that. We're going to be sending out emails reminding you about the training as well as asking for examples of your posters. So for the training yesterday that we did with slides, we had people submit their slide decks so we could kind of see where they were at and maybe use some as some examples to show how we can make some improvements. So if you have your poster ready to go by March 19th, submit that to us. We'd love to help show some things that we can tweak and change, and we'd like to see where you're at so that we make sure that we give content that is relevant and important for you. If you don't have a poster ready for Student Research Symposium by the 19th, but you have another one that you've already used, go ahead and send that to us. We just want to see where you're at and see what kind of content we need to present to you. And then finally, on March 26th, we'll have another training that's a virtual training like this. It's going to be about professionalism and how to present at a conference. So it's going to be things about how to dress, how to present, how to speak effectively, but less about the technical side of things like design and things like that, but more about just how to present yourself, how to speak, how to be a professional at these conferences. So that will be March 26th, I think at 10 o'clock as well. And so be watching for that. We'll be sending you emails reminding you, don't worry about trying to remember all of this. We'll send an RSVP email for the training on March 19th for sure because we want to make sure we have enough room for all of you. But just be watching for your emails and we'll keep in touch with you. And if you have any questions, please let us know. So we'll kick it back over to Brandon.
All right, and that should conclude. I think that takes care of everything that we need to cover. So once again, you can email your questions to me, and if you're watching this and you're not live, you can still email me your questions. We're going to be making an FAQ page on the website, and we'll post everything, all our answers to those questions there. So those look like they're, well, I have one more question. Let's pull it up. Reed asked, can we get separate awards for both poster and oral presentations? So if you present poster and an oral presentation, can you get an award for both? I don't know for sure, but I imagine the answer is no. But that can change. If it really is the best poster in both or the best presentation in both, then I don't see why not. So I'll get working on that and see if I can get a better answer. So looks like there are no other questions. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope this didn't take too much of your time. And if you want me to refer back to this, it'll be posted to the website hopefully later today. Thank you.